Hi, my name is Kerry Fager, and I'm going to talk to you about some tools that you can use to optimize a business for local search. So we're going to talk about the Google My Business dashboard, we're going to talk about some of the data aggregators, some other business listing management services, and then some citation building services. So right off the bat, we're going to go into the Google My Business dashboard, and I do want to tell you on the front end that you shouldn't be thrown off if some things look a little bit different in this recording than when you are walking through it yourself. Google makes changes very frequently, and so some things might have changed slightly by the time you're watching this, so don't be thrown off by that. So today I'm going to walk through claiming and optimizing a Google My Business page. To begin, be sure that you are logged into a Google Plus account, and from here we are going to go to the Google My Business dashboard. So if you just do a Google search for Google My Business, go to the first result and click on this blue button for Get on Google. So here Google brings us to a map of the United States. It's going to ask us to search for a business name and address to see if the business that we're optimizing is already on Google Maps. So for today's demonstration purposes, I'm going to be using a fictional business. And so I'm just going to perform a search for the business. It's called Nerdy Ned's Comics. I know that we're not going to find a My Business page because the business obviously doesn't exist. And so Google gave us a few results, but none of these are the business. If the business that you're claiming and optimizing already exists on Google Maps, and Google provides an option to select it, you would select it at this point and proceed with the next steps. If it does not appear in a search here, you would select none of these match in order to add your business to Google Maps. Sometimes it can be easier to search using the phone number of the business because sometimes if the business went by a different name in years past, sometimes a search for the business name may not find it. So because this business is not on Google Maps, I'm going to choose none of these match, and we're going to start adding some business information. So right now, Google is just going to ask for some very basic information on the front end. We'll be able to add a lot more information a little bit later. But Google is just getting us started here with the name, the address, the phone number, and we'll be able to add a couple other details here. Okay, and Google also asks for one category for the business. We'll be able to add more categories a little bit later, but I'm going to select one for now. And for this business, I do not deliver goods and services to my customers at their location, so I'm not going to select this option. So we're going to continue from here. Okay, and Google is just asking to make sure that I'm authorized to manage this business. So I am authorized to manage this business, even though it's fictional. So I select that option and click Continue. So right now, Google is creating the Google Plus side of the business page. It's not yet on Google Maps, though. And so the next step is to actually verify the page. So Google offers up to 3 different options for verifying My Business page. The 3 options are either phone, postcard, or using Google Webmaster Tools. If the My Business page is already on Google Maps, chances are you'll at least get 2 options, usually the postcard and phone option. In this case, because this business was not on Google Maps yet, I only get the postcard option. Usually I recommend using the phone option or the Webmaster Tools options if they're available, just because they're a lot more those options are a lot more quick in the verification process. The postcard option takes a week or 2 for the postcard to arrive. So if you do the postcard option, though, the postcard comes in a week or 2, and you use the PIN code that's on the postcard, and you put it in the My Business dashboard, and that verifies your page. So that's just Google's method of verifying that you truly are located at the physical address that you're listing on the My Business page. If you choose the phone option, Google will send an automated phone call, and you're able to initiate when this call comes, but Google will send the phone call to the phone number that's listed on the My Business page. The automated voice on on the other end will read off a PIN number for you, and you'll be able to input that PIN in the My Business dashboard. And then the other option, Google Webmaster Tools option, this is actually pretty new. If you're using a Google account to claim the My Business page that you've used to set up Webmaster Tools on the domain name that's listed on the My Business page, sometimes you're eligible to verify the My Business page immediately. So this is definitely the easiest option, but I realize that sometimes the Google account that you're using to manage the My Business page isn't always the one that's used to manage Webmaster Tools. For this example, the only option that I'm provided with is the postcard option because the business does not exist on Google Maps yet. I'm not going to follow through with the postcard option at this time just because this is a fictional business and I'm not sure who's actually located at 1700 Grand Avenue. So thankfully we can bypass this for now, and Google allows us to verify the page later. So I'm going to select continue and verify later. So now Google gives us a welcome message to the My Business dashboard. I know how My Business works, so I'm going to select Skip Tour. So you'll notice this red banner message near the top says your edits won't show up on Google unless you verify your business. At any time, we could come back and verify the business through this dashboard. But for now, we're going to take some steps to optimize the page. So I'm going to click on Edit, and here is the back end of the My Business dashboard. So obviously we've already entered some of this basic information, name and address. If the marker location on the map is incorrect, Google actually allows you to edit the marker location. So moving down a little bit, we have the phone number already in there. I definitely recommend adding the website URL for the business just because that is a way that customers can learn more about the business. These show up right on the My Business page. Google also allows you to add other contact information through the My Business dashboard, such as an email address, mobile phone number, fax, and chat. But that's all I'm going to add for this one. So now we're able to add a couple more categories for the business. I definitely recommend adding as many categories as possible. I believe the maximum is still 10. Unfortunately, we have to select from a predetermined list of categories that are provided by Google. We're not able to add custom categories, but Google is pretty good at determining what you do based on other information it has about you on the web. So I'm going to add just one other category here that I know applies to this business. We're going to add bookstore, and that should be sufficient. This is a comic book store, so the category comic book store very appropriately describes the business. Google also allows you to add business hours for when your business is open, and it's really nice because you can select very customized business hours. So if you have different hours on different days, if you have a break during the day, maybe if the business is closed during lunch, you can have that reflected in the business hours displayed. So I'm going to add 10 to 8 on weekdays and 10 to 5 on Saturdays. All right, and Google also allows you to add some photos from the back end of the My Business dashboard. I'm going to hold off on that for now, and I'm going to show you a different way to add photos in just a minute. And then the final component is adding an introduction about the business. The introduction is really meant to be a sales pitch for what the business does. It's not supposed to be a long novel about everything that who the business is and what they do. So it's really supposed to be sort of a short snippet of content that describes some more details about the business that aren't necessarily covered by the categories that are listed. I don't believe there's a limit on the amount of content that you can use here, but again, just think about the user when writing the introduction. How much would a user really want to read? If they want to read a lot, they'll probably go to your website. So that is all for the back end of the My Business dashboard. So now we're going to go to the live page and see what it looks like. So you can see the information that we added in the back end. And now we're going to add some photos. So we're allowed to add a profile photo to the page. So I'm going to pull up a photo for us to add. And here we have a photo of comic book Clark Kent to add as the profile photo. I definitely recommend using photos in both the profile photo field and the cover photo field. This just adds a little character and flavor to your My Business page. I recommend using photos of what the business actually looks like. So if it's a restaurant, including photos of food or even the menu. you don't have to do photos of what the physical business looks like. Obviously, I used just a photo of a comic book for the profile photo, but here I'm going to use a photo of what the stands actually look like in the comic book store. And because Google wants My Business pages to be a digital representation of the real world, they really want to show users exactly what they can expect before they actually come into a business. So for businesses that are professional services like doctors or dentists or lawyers, this can kind of be difficult to use photos on their My Business pages of what the actual business looks like, because you wouldn't want to include a photo, for example, of a dentist operating on a patient. That would be kind of awkward. So for those types of businesses, I recommend logos are fine, but including images of what the office looks like on the inside or the outside, or using images of the practitioners with those organizations, the actual dentists or the actual lawyers. Those are good options. So that is how you optimize a Google My Business page. The only step that we did not take was verifying the page, but that can be done before or after optimization, and that's no problem. So in addition to using the Google My Business dashboard, I also recommend that businesses make sure that they're listed in the 4 major data aggregators: Axiom, Localese, Infogroup, and Factual. Each of these services allow businesses to list their information. Some of them have premium paid services, but they are definitely worth putting the information on so that business listings across the web, including Google, can find information out about a business. So if you remember the local search ecosystem, you'll notice here the 4 data aggregators are very prominent in the ecosystem, and so that's why they are important for businesses to list their information there. Another service I wanted to talk about is Yext. It's what's called a listing management service. Yext itself does not have its own business listings, so there's no such thing as a Yext listing, but Yext has a partnership with a lot of other business listings across the web, and business owners and SEOs can manage businesses through the Yext dashboard. So it's one location where businesses can manage their information for a lot of other directories. Another similar service to this is Moz Local. Moz Local allows businesses to manage their listings on the 4 major data aggregators, actually. And so this is a lot more simple way to manage information on the aggregators than going to each of those services directly. Moz Local also provides management of a couple other listings. It is a paid service, but is definitely worth the time and effort. 2 other services I wanted to call out are citation building services. So they're similar to Yext and Moz Local because they allow businesses to manage their information, but these businesses will build citations for businesses manually. There's a human being on the other end of the business who is building these citations for the business. The first one is Bright Local, and the second is WhiteSpark. These are also paid services, but they're very, very good at what they do, and I definitely recommend businesses utilizing their service. Another tool is Google Mapmaker. Google Mapmaker is Google's crowdsourcing effort that allows businesses and users to edit their information on Google Maps. Anyone with a Google account can also create a Google Mapmaker account. Users can edit information from boundary lines to trails to road names to building lines on Google Maps. So the way that Google holds users accountable is that it requires other users to review their edits to make sure that they are making legitimate edits to information on Google Maps. So a user can't just go out and change the name of a road without someone else reviewing it to make sure it's a legitimate road, a legitimate edit. The more edits you make, the more credibility you have, and the easier it is to get your edits approved on Google Mapmaker. So how this factors into local search is that users can edit business listings through Mapmaker. In recent times, the Google My Business dashboard has become more the source of truth for business information on Google Maps, but Mapmaker is a last result if some of the information is not reflecting on a live listing. I also want to talk a little bit about on-site optimization. Obviously, local SEO is primarily concerned with what's off of a website, but there are some things that businesses can do on a website to ensure that their listings show up higher in search. First one is schema.org markup. So schema.org is a format of code that all the search engines have agreed upon to recognize all sorts of information. And there is specific markup for a business's name, address, and phone number that can help businesses show up in knowledge graph results, for example, in Google search results. So I highly recommend businesses marking up their name, address, and phone number on their website with schema markup. And the other tactic that I want to talk about in terms of on-site is local landing pages. So for businesses that have more than one physical location, I highly recommend building a landing page for each physical location on their website. What this does is it just gives Google a stronger signal that the business has more than one physical location. Mike Ramsey of Nifty Marketing created a really great infographic called The Anatomy of an Optimal Landing Page, where he outlines specifically what businesses should include on a landing page to give them the most benefit in search results. I highly recommend checking out his Anatomy of an Optimal Landing Page. You can find it on his website, Nifty Marketing. Along with schema markup, businesses should also include an embedded map as well as some content that's specific to the geographic region of the physical location on their local landing pages. For businesses that want to learn more about how they can optimize their presence for local search, they can follow some of these links. The first one is Google's instructions on how businesses should optimize their business information. The second one is just a very, very educational piece from Moz about what businesses should use as their online marketing strategy, specifically for local search. I also would highly recommend attending a Local U seminar. These are workshops that take place a couple times per year all over the US, and a lot of the local search experts in the nation put this on. They are considered the instructors. So all of those are great resources that you can use to learn more about some tools that businesses can use to optimize their local search presence. Thanks for watching. I hope this presentation on local tools was very helpful.